It's Friday, July the 15th, and welcome to From the South. We kick off today's news with the two biggest stories. First to Turkey, where Prime Minister Binali Yildirim has said that a group within Turkey's military has attempted to overthrow the government. Military jets and helicopters were seen flying overhead. The long-awaited release of 28 classified pages redacted from a 2002 congressional report on the 9/11 hijackings were made public on Friday. The documents assert that high-ranking members of the Saudi Arabian government were involved in the planning and financing of the terror attacks. In a press conference, Saudi Arabia has denied any involvement. Thousands of Argentines protested across the country Thursday, banging pots and pans to reject major hikes in the cost of public services implemented by the government of Mauricio Macri. Water, gas and electric bills have risen by roughly 700%. In some cases, hikes have hit 2,000%. Brazil has decided to bolster security for next month's Rio Olympics. The decision comes after yesterday's attack in Nice, France, which resulted in the deaths of 84 people. There has been some fear and speculation that the Olympic Games could be a target for terrorism.
Most of us think of Venezuela as a Caribbean country, and well, this is probably the only place in the country you'll find snow, because we're close to the country's highest point, the Bolivar Peak, that's just on 5,000 meters, and potentially a major tourist attraction that Venezuela is keen to take advantage of. But all of this is threatened by climate change, because, for example, the Humboldt Glacier over there is diminishing in its thickness by about 5 centimeters every year. They estimate that within 5, 6, 7 years, it could disappear completely. These are the finishing touches after 5 years of completely rebuilding the Mucumbari cable car, which they hope will be a major contribution to Venezuela's tourism trade. It reaches a height of 4,750 meters. Each of the cars carries 60 passengers, and they're proud to call it the highest, the longest, the most modern, and they say the safest in the world.
12-year-old Raquel and her 10-year-old sister Alejandra are just two of Bolivia's estimated 850,000 child labourers. Every day after school, the girls help their mothers sell fruit on the streets of La Paz.
When I leave school, we come here at 1 p.m. I help my sister here. My sister also helps out selling. I sometimes help my mother. When my mother needs to go to the bank, I stay here selling.
It's been 2 years since Bolivia passed a controversial law allowing for children as young as 10 to work up to 6 hours a day. But the child still has to attend school, and parents have to get approval from authorities regarding the type of work their children do. Traditionally, the majority of Bolivia's child labourers worked in the mines in the south of the country. Today they can be found in all types of manufacturing industries and on the streets, shoe shining and selling fruits, cigarettes and toiletries. With some Bolivians earning as little as $1.50 per day, these children often support their families financially, boosting the monthly earnings of their parents. Raquel's mother Gladys says any money the girls earn is put aside for them.
Our children help us, and when we sell, we give our children money to pay for their activities and for their transportation. If they didn't let us sell, how would we give our children money for their transportation? Raquel helps me sell. If I'm going somewhere, I leave her here to sell, and what she sells for me, I give it to her.
Child labour is deeply ingrained in Bolivian society, and for the public it's not unusual to see children working hard on the streets to earn their keep. Even President Evo Morales worked as a child herding llamas in his hometown. When the law was passed, politicians said it was a big step forward in providing legal protection for children in cases where they were exploited. But 2 years on, agencies representing the rights of child workers say a lack of resources and few inspectors means little has changed.
Ni para los adultos hay inspección.
There are not even enough inspections for adults, never mind for minors. So what do we see? There are 3 or 4 inspection representatives for the entire country.
ni antes ni después.
Even though Raquel spends most of her free time on the streets, she says the hardest part of her day is not the work itself, but the public's lack of respect.
I feel the same as everyone, but other people think that I am different from them.
Bolivia's government says the law is working and that children are better protected today than they were in 2014. Child workers represent 17% of Bolivia's total labour force, making it the country with the highest ratio of child labour per head of population. Dimitri O'Donnell, teleSur, La Paz.
Ecuadorian President Rafael Correa is seeking a mandate from citizens to see that politicians and public servants who store their money in offshore tax havens are not able to hold office. Correa framed the issue as a matter of economic justice, emphasizing that only the rich utilize tax havens. He added that 32 million people in Latin America could escape poverty if the money in tax havens was subject to income tax. Residents of Nice have set up a memorial for the victims of Thursday night's attack, where at least 84 people have died. Both residents and tourists alike left flowers and notes for the victims. While it is widely speculated that the suspected attacker, Mohamed Lahuayej Bohelel, was radicalized by Islam, his neighbours say he was just a petty criminal. Earlier this Friday, British Prime Minister Theresa May visited Scotland to meet with First Minister Nicola Sturgeon to talk about how to approach Brexit talks. After the meeting, May indicated the formal trigger of divorce talks with the European Union will not be done until a UK approach had been agreed. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump has announced his running mate. Indiana's Governor Mike Pence will be the vice presidential candidate alongside Trump. Pence had famously denounced Donald Trump and his views on Islam and Muslims entering the United States. Protesters took to the street of Dhaka to rally against the killing of innocent people in a string of recent attacks in Bangladesh. Speakers at the rally demanded immediate arrest of the militants and stressed the need for creating awareness among the people against the militants. Clashes between fighters loyal to President Abdrabbu Mansur Hadi and Houthi rebels allied to Zaidi Shia broke out in the Yemeni city of Taiz earlier this morning. This fighting comes the day after Ansar Allah representatives, the Houthi political arm, left to attend unmediated talks in Kuwait. Hundreds of Ugandans affected by fighting that flared up in the South Sudan capital of Juba in recent days are waiting to be evacuated. They were gathered on the outskirts of the city, where they would be evacuated by their country's army. The recent violence has raised fears of a collapse of a nearly one-year peace deal. Chinese Premier Li Keqiang expressed appreciation of Cambodia's stance on the so-called South China Sea arbitration, which was unilaterally initiated by the Philippines. Li said China and Cambodia have agreed to work together to safeguard peace and navigation freedom in the South China Sea. Brazilian street artist Eduardo Cobra is leading a team around the clock to create one of the world's largest murals in time for the Olympic Games in Rio. The mural is over 9,800 feet and is entitled Ethnicities. It will feature the faces of 5 indigenous people from different continents, marking a visual reference to the 5 Olympic rings. More on these and other stories on our website telesurtv.net/English.